Hi, this is Carrie Lonsdale, and you're in our kitchen. It's July 18th, 2013, and it is approximately 9:30. We're running this video to document the flaws in the workmanship, substandard workmanship of Chris Reyes and Countertop Solutions. This project actually started March 15th. We made our first deposit then, and was supposed to be completed April 20th. We are now July 18th, and the work still is not done. So this is the sideboard, what I'm calling the sideboard that was constructed. As you can see, there is the back trim that was not replaced, so that still had to be done. We found in the process of calling in another contractor that these knots in the wood that are not supposed to be there, that's because they're a different grade than what they should be. This wood should all be stain grade. If you look back at this, you will see the big space between the doors. The hinges have to be adjusted. I want to zoom in on this wine rack, and you can see where it was not, none of the edges meet. It was not cut correctly. You see the big gaps between the wood and the framework all the way around. The top door does not even have a knob. He forgot to drill this when he put in all the knobs. Second panel, you see some more knots. This is a bad part of the wood. If you look at these doorknob handles, you can see that they are uneven. This one is actually higher than this one. I'm going to look down at the drawers. If you take a look at these handles, the first two are aligned, and as you can see, the third one, that is not aligned. The carpenter that built these did all of these drill holes freehand. He sat down on the ground and drilled up into the drawers so they are not even. Hey, Tony, give me oh, I got it. I'm going to move over here, and as you can see, this big fill line that goes up to a quarter. It's the full length. It's actually starting to crack and dry and pull away. But this cabinet right here, the carpenter said the wall was unlevel. But if I put a level on here, you can clearly see by the bubble that this level is completely, it's level. Now I want to show you the cabinet. And as you can see, the level is flush against the cabinet side, and you can see that this cabinet is not level. Look at the bubble. It's tilted toward the right side. So that means this cabinet is actually put on here, and it was put on here, and it's not level. I turn this so you can see the gap in the cabinet between the cabinet door and the cabinet itself. This is the pantry. And here are 2 of the 6 hinges. If you see the white paint around the edges, these were actually pulled from another job. Those are huge. These are used hinges that were put in our cabinets, and we paid for new hinges. And actually, here's another one on the pantry door. I'm going to pull out a little bit. But you can see right around here, and then the top, the white paint. These doors only came out like 45 degrees, and the way that they actually hit themselves, and as you can see, there's not much leadway between the island and the door, so we had requested to have the hinges so that this door can fold completely back. You can see how much further it folds back, and we were told that that could be done, but it would be another $500 to remake the doors and to get those hinges. Another thing that we discovered, which was really interesting, these are the cabinet doors above the refrigerator. I discovered this 2 weeks ago. These doors were originally, there was a big space between them, and so I thought they remade the doors to close it, but what actually happened that I found later is the carpenter Ignacio put a scrap piece of wood in here. Let me go and zoom in this. You can see it right there. He put a scrap piece of wood to bring it in closer to the frame instead of remaking the cabinets. Let me show you the difference between how this looks and how the other side looks, and you can tell he stuck actually a piece of wood in there. This is the other side. See how light that wood is? See how dark that wood is? That's an extra piece of wood. Let me see if I can get underneath here. Yeah, you can see he just stuck an extra piece of wood in there instead of remaking these cabinet doors. So like I said, I just found that out 2 weeks ago. I tried to bring that up to Chris, and he threw a fit and said, oh, we have more doors to make. I tried to explain to him that I had just found it, and he threw a temper tantrum saying that it was going to delay the work and blah blah blah. If you see the trim work above, see how dark that is? That's not birch. If you look at the trim work all the way around, when I called in the other contractor, she called Liberty Hardwoods and found out that there was beech in this order as well as birch. We paid for birch. And there was also 2 grades of wood. One was a stain grade, one was a paint grade. This was all supposed to be stain grade, and that's why we have all these knots. So the molding throughout needs to be replaced. I'm going to go back over on this side to show you the knots in the cabinet, which you can clearly see. The first panel needs to be replaced with the big knot. Second panel, the same. Third panel, I don't know if you can tell. Hopefully this light will catch it. But there are horizontal lines that run this way that are in the grain of the wood. This actually should be replaced, but Chris said that it could be taken care of and that it wouldn't be a problem. This corner cabinet, these corner cabinets, they were never supposed to be like this. First off, Ignacio, and you can see the holes from the first hinge that they put in that wasn't even a hinge. You can see the marks in the wood. Like this big dent right here. I don't know if you can see this or not. There's a big dent right here. But they actually charged me $23 extra. They originally had a hinge on there that wasn't the right hinge. It didn't even move. The doors didn't even move at all. So they charged me $23 extra to put these hinges that they have on now. And I asked them to fill all the holes in. They didn't. All these cross-cut marks in the cabinets up here, and all these cross-cut cabinets in the mark where they overcut were supposed to be filled in. They weren't. Here is somebody put wood putty in here to fill this. This is actually the outside wall of where my wall oven is. And I just thought I'd show some of these. These are throughout the kitchen. There's like 21 holes. All these little holes I have marked on the cabinet. These little holes. The hinges had been put in wrong. And I asked Ignacio to fill all those. He said he would, but he did not. Again, holes. We're going to come over here. Here's another panel on the other side of the microwave. I want to show you this because this is really absurd. This piece is actually lifting up. And Ignacio, I said, this is not supposed to be like this. Oh, it'll be okay, Carrie. It'll be okay. And I'm like, it's flaking off. This is because of the poor wood. This is a warped piece of wood. And I think it'll... Chris tried to tell me that it was a straight piece of wood, and you can clearly see that it's not. To get a better view of how much it's warped, you can actually I don't know if you can see how that bows, how it's not that far, and then it bows, but it meets at the top and the bottom, but it's bowed and needed to be replaced. This corner cabinet, you can clearly see the space at the bottom and the space at the top. It clearly needed to be replaced, and it was not cut right. Something I just found out last week. This is our trash pullout, and what I discovered is there are hinge holes cut in the door. This is the top one, and that is the bottom one. They made this by mistake, and they still put it in my kitchen. The front panel of the island is missing right here. Let me go over and show you. This is the panel that's supposed to be down here. and it fell off about a month ago. Like 2 weeks after they put it in. And look at the tiny nails that they used to put this in. This was not glued. It's just, it's ridiculous. This is the center island. This is warped and need to be replaced. It doesn't, it meets down there, and then it's warped at the top. Chris initially told me this is a divider drawer. These were supposed to be adjustable for potatoes, so I could adjust them. They are not. Also, I want you to see this big space.
No, I'm saying that I don't want that to happen, because then